Woo! Hello, welcome back to the channel. We have exciting news. We have a new fleet member. The Seicento is sold. I was a bit sorry to see it go, but needs must. This came up for sale through a friend of mine privately. It wasn't advertised, and I couldn't say no. Anyway, to spare you any more expense, I'll pull over. We can take a look round what I've just bought. So apologies for the background noise. We're on Barton Sea cliff tops. There's a lot of birds. Would you quiet down? Probably not the best day for filming this, but now I've pulled over. Let's take a closer look around the car. Shush! So here we have it, guys. It's a Fiat Cinquecento or Seicento. This has been previously seen on YouTube. Mr. Lloyd did a low budget review of the car only I think last month actually. So there is some more footage of this car on YouTube at the moment. But let's take a closer look around it. Right, so starting on this side, guys, there's a few stone chips and marks as you would expect with a car this age. A few little stone chips here and there. All in all, really, it's quite straight. On this side, it's a similar story, pretty straight bodywork, a couple of little marks. There's an interesting hole above the passenger door handle there. Not too sure what's going on there, but we need to look at that at some point. Arches are all good. No rust in the tailgate, which is nice. Let's take a look in the boot. So in here you've got that's essentially a sunroof blind. Boot floor's all good. Well, let's take a look in the interior. Right, so going inside the car, love the check pattern on the door cards, which is continued into the interior. Love the switchgear on the dash, that's fantastic. Reminds me of the early Mark 1 Pandas actually. Right, so into the back. Fairly decent amount of space, although I wouldn't want to be a passenger on a long journey. There's not a lot of legroom sadly, but yeah, seats are all clean. Being a 90's car, of course, it has seat belts fitted in the back, which is nice, and it's also got pop-out rear windows. Awesome. So to the engine, guys. So under the bonnet we have the tried and tested, quite old by modern standards, 899cc pushrod 4-cylinder engine. It has a timing chain rather than timing belt, which is nice, so less servicing. This is such a reliable little engine. It was fitted to so many cars going back to the 1960s. But what's it like on the road as a daily driver? Let's take it for a test drive. Remembering, of course, to put the seatbelt on. Fires immediately into life. Such a good little engine. Coast is clear. Now the engine in this, which is like I said an 899cc, produces about 39 horsepower, so not a racing machine by any standards, but this is purely designed as a town car for the little streets in Italy to get you around to go to the shops. But people have taken them all over the world. I mean, take Sean and Jim of Also Driven. They've taken theirs to Poland. So it is possible. Oh, speed bump. Oh, we got a hill. No problem. Good little car. Yeah, I mean, ideally it's happy pootling around the streets, but you can stick this on the motorway. I'm not sure I'd want to do that, but although there is a cars and coffee meet coming up in Manchester fairly soon, so watch your space. I was talking to Jim the other day, and he was saying how reliable these engines are and these cars are. They've got a huge following. People love them. And you have to remember, this is the replacement for the Fiat 500, which has won the hearts of a lot of people. So the pressure was on by Fiat to produce an equally good, if not better, car. And this is in development for years. It was actually, they first started looking at designing this in the 1980s. It was a very slow, drawn-out process. But the car itself didn't actually hit UK sales rooms until the early 90s. I think it was 1991. This, of course, was produced up to about 1998, so a fairly good lifespan. And then, of course, its replacement was the Seicento, the car that I've owned and driven. But I much prefer this. It's much more retro. So what are the plans for this car? Well, I intend to keep it. I know I say that a lot, guys, but I absolutely fell in love with this car the moment I saw it. My friend's other half brought this down on a damp, wet, windy night in the middle of the dark. I just said, yes, I'll have it. Having seen Mr. Lloyd's previous video of it, I knew how good it was. It doesn't like hills. So what are my plans for this car, guys? Well, I plan to use it alongside George. George is nearly 50 years old now. It's not fair to take him out in all weathers. Although, to be fair to this car, this is a bit of a survivor as well, really, because it was garage from new. It's a two-owner car, excluding the chap I bought it from, Ben. Full service history. I've even got the original book of sale, which is lovely. All the handbooks. It's been really, really well looked after. It's showing its age, don't get me wrong. There's a nasty tear in the driver's seat. Bit of a clonk from the suspension. Need to look into what that is. And a few little nicks and scabs here. There's a crack in the rear bumper. But I've already started looking, and you can buy those from Italy for about £100 shipped. So that's not the end of the world, but one step at a time. But yeah, absolutely loving this. I'm currently bidding on a cheeky 1990s period correct radio cassette for it, because there's nothing here currently. Well, there was a horrible silver Goodman's, which was covered in detritus, and that's gone in the bin where it deserves to be. But yes, I'm going to head home now, guys, and put the kettle on. This is just an introduction to the new fleet member, who we shall call Kermit. So, hello, Kermit. Woo! That's all leave the recording. Bonus footage time. I told Mr. Hubnut I bought one of these cars, and he was somewhat pleased. I mean, he's just been to Turin in one of these, not all the way, but he did share his approval. Hence the hat. Well, I'm almost home, guys. I am going to wrap this up now, so I'll say goodbye. Thank you for watching. I shall see you soon with some more content. Take care and drive safe. Goodbye.